So we are live, sir.
Obinando, I'm all yours now.
Yes, sir. We are live. Let me just make sure that I can see you on these other platforms. Okay, I can see you here. And I can also see you on YouTube. Let me see if I can see you on YouTube. Yes, I can see you here too.
Okay.
This is not what it's showing though.
It's not syncing well, right?
No, it's syncing. Yeah, I can
Okay.
I can see you. Yeah, I can see you very much. Okay. There's a lady, Shokoya Esther. I don't know if I should. Okay. I'll just, you know the person?
Yes, I know the person.
Okay. Let me allow her in. Oh, but I'll just keep her by the side though. Yeah. Yeah. She just joined in. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So just a brief explanation about who we have here on today. The guest we have, his name is Mr. Yomi Soge. I got to know him. I think that this year will make it 8 years ago. When I joined that global organization, fresh out of school. I think I worked with an insurance company for like a few months before I got the job with you, sir. You were the head of IT at the time. So there's this thing we say back then in that company, we call people our line managers. So he was Mr. Yomi was like my great grandfather line manager at the time. Yeah, so that way at the top, way at the top. It was like great. Yeah, they used to say, yeah, they'd be like great grandfather line manager. So he was like my great grandfather line manager. Yeah, but one of the things that stood out from so many people that I met at the time who were at the top of their career at the time was that Mr. Yomi would come down to the office in the night, if he still remembers. Me and Dami will still be working till late in the night. We'll be using the company resources to look at our personnel, to grow ourselves and stuff like that. So Mr. Yomi will come sit down with us and ask us questions. How you guys doing? What are your plans? What was the recent thing you saw happen in the world? You understand, in terms of IT and stuff like that. Then you would advise us on steps to follow in our careers and stuff like that. So there was one time you came one evening like that and you said, can you guys tell me how I am doing managing this department? You were asking for our own input in an organization that we're barely 1 year, and we're actually at the lowest level of when you look at the rank and file, we're just scared to say a word, but you made it very easy for us to express ourselves. All right, that was one of the beautiful things that I learned working with you. Humility and community was very important for you. And outside the team itself, outside the GDBS IT team, you had a very good relationship with your colleagues and stuff. And I saw it. It was something that I really cherished. So I decided to learn from that footstep. So sometimes when you say, oh, Obina, go and meet go and manage your girlfriend, go and manage your big top managers. It was because I was watching you, how you actually managed those top, even outside the Africa team, international team, you had a very big name. Because when I say I'm from Yomi Soge's team, and they'll be like, oh, so what do you want? What do you need? Where can I assist you? So you actually made a good name for yourself, sir. So, and outside that organization, you joined another organization, but I would allow you to say more about your new organization. So that's just a brief introduction about you. The thing apart from working with you, was your character, your love for people, your humility, your sense of community, your sense of togetherness, your sense of unity, always bringing the team together one way or the other. Even when the server is down, when there's one huge issue, there was one time you came into the office and you were hitting your head on the wall. You didn't necessarily say anything. You just showed up and everybody was on top of their you understand, on top of their job. So it was something that I really, really loved, how you managed the team at that time. It was something that I really, really wanted to bring outside the organization, even into my own family life when I started making families, because of the things that I learned. These nuggets of little things that you did one here and there is something that I would love to also impute in my life and also in my family life. So thank you so much for honoring this invitation. It's an honor to have you here, sir, Mr. Abayomi Soge. And I'm really so happy to have you here. And of course, so many, since I published that flyer, is actually out there trying to see and listen to you today talk. So without saying too much, let me allow you to introduce yourself. So Mr. Abayomi Soge, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Obinamdo.
Yeah.
Remember, that's what I used to call you.
Yes, sir.
You said a lot. The truth is, I'm still trying to become better than I am. I'm still on the journey. So I'm happy you said all those nice things. My journey in life is to continue to put a smile on people's face. And I'm somebody that is more about others, less of me, basically. So if you're looking for a word to sort of describe me, that's the kind of person I am. Put a smile on people's face, able to reach out to the other person, put myself into the other person's shoes, and make life better for everybody. You said it, the community type of relationship. So my name is Abayomi Soge, as you rightly said. I'm almost 50. So
Don't look it.
Really, I'm older than 50. I look older than 50, actually. People tell me I look older than 50. So I'll be celebrating my 50th birthday sometime this year. I'm really looking forward to it because I'm thinking that finally it has come. It took a while in coming. All my friends and colleagues are already 50. So at times I feel ashamed when I realize that I'm not even there. Started my career, maybe I should just cut it in beats. I finished from one of the prestigious secondary schools in Nigeria, Abayomi Grammar School, 1988. And I went to Ogun State University. I read computer science with accounting. And at that point, I had a dilemma in terms of what I should really focus on. My dad, bless him, wanted me to be an accountant, and I wanted to study that new course that is computer science, because computer science was new. I mean, in terms of the adoption, I didn't really know about computer science. All I knew when I was trying to look for a course in university was I wanted to be an architect. So, but I failed technical drawing. So that created a problem. So I went back to the JAMB book here and I was then searching for a combination of courses that could look for an easy university to gain admission into, look for a course where the JAMB courses are your favorite courses. So I ended up looking for physics, English, definitely, mathematics, and economics. Those were my favorite subjects. And then I was just searching, and I said, which university would be easier now? Let me go to my state university, Ogun State University there, and let me look for a course that fitted that combination of courses for JAMB. Then I saw computer science with statistics. And then I told my father, he said, no, don't do statistics, do accounting. That was how I started the journey. While in school, my father tried a lot to make sure that my orientation was tilted towards accounting. He forced me to start ICANN. I did ICANN, I did stage 1, but my mind wasn't there. But I think it all, when I finished, or even before I finished, when I went for IT, that was when my love for computers started growing. And I was opportune to be exposed to programming when I was in African Petroleum doing my IT. And that was how I started, DBase 4 back then. It was, that was the programming language then. It was a procedural language, a relational database management solution. So I started with that. And then when I finished, I went to ExxonMobil. That was when I did my service year in ExxonMobil in Akwa Ibom State. And that was how I decided, I continued to expose and then learn a lot of programming languages back then. So my first area of discipline as an IT person was programming, not the programming of nowadays. The programming of nowadays is a bit scary, but back then it was big back then too. But I know they do a lot of object-oriented programming nowadays. Yes. Back then it was so procedural. You have to write everything. Yeah. If you want a box, you have to write a program to create a box rather than pick an object and then use it. That's the difference with what we have now. And then that was how I started. And somewhere along that line, there was a disruption. So I stopped programming. I went into database administration, application support. Then another disruption, I started to look at networks. Eventually, after some time, I became a bit of everything, more like, I was a programmer, but I knew a lot about networks. I wasn't a specialist. I knew a lot about programming also. I knew a lot about hardware, even though I wasn't a specialist. Then I did some work for some ISPs at some point in 2000, 2002, joined Guinness in 2003, then quickly rose through the ranks in Guinness Nigeria PLC until I became head of IT in 2010. And then I spent the next 6 years leading that function until I was forced to go and become an entrepreneur. Something that I know that it had to be, there's a reason for it. God wanted to prepare me to become an entrepreneur. And I left Guinness in 2016, September. And just the previous month, I had already I got a certificate of incorporation for my company, and that was it. So when I left September, by November, December, I was already doing business with foreign companies. But of course, entrepreneurship too is not easy. So I was always longing for an opportunity to come back into paid employment. But I guess God wanted me to have both plans. So I still have my IT business now, but it was easy for me to come back into paid employment in 2020 when I joined Grand Series Limited as the head of IT also. And that's where I am now. I'm based out of Jos. If you ask what are my core skills when it comes to IT, I've mentioned that programming, but of course, no longer relevant. I can't program anymore now at the level of my career. But if I should say this is the area, it would be in terms of IT strategy development. As a business leader that I am also, so at some point, it's not just about you being an IT guy. It's also about you being a business person, be able to understand the business that you are supporting. And I did a lot in the FMCG. So if you ask me which business area are my experiences, that would be in the CPG industry. So IT strategy development, being able to translate the strategy of the business into IT initiatives, policy development. Another way to describe me is I'm a solutions architect. So because of my background in programming, if you have a need, I can picture what the solution should look like. We called this skill solutions architecture back then, but I think there's a redefinition of that skill. I think that's what you see guys calling themselves UI and UX designers now. So they've taken that a bit to the next level, but that's who I am. So that's me in a nutshell. let me pause there so that let me go over to you. That's my
so
career
much.
history. All right. And then, sorry, so let me also add family. I lead a family of 5. I'm married with grown-up kids. I started early. This is my 23rd year of marriage. Yeah. Wow. And I'm a lover of God. I'm a minister at His vineyard. Though I know God is helping me in that regards, I need to do better than I'm doing now. So that's it, Obina. Hello, Obina.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Demola is away.
I lost you there.
Can you hear me, sir?
I lost you there, yeah. We're back.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just saying that Demola, I'm sorry for that. I was just saying that Demola just came on and he said, good to see my great boss and mentor.
Don't let that guy ask me questions. I don't trust him.
There's a lot of people. It is here. So I didn't want to start from here, but I didn't want to start from your leadership position, but I would just start from here anyways. How, as a leader, right? As a leader, both in the family space and even in the corporate world, and even as an entrepreneur, I know you meet. I didn't plan to start this difficult, but I'm just going to ask it anyways. I know you meet difficult people. Right? How do you manage those difficult set of people in your team?
Well, even if I want, everybody cannot be like me. The way I believe life should be lived is for you to be a source of inspiration and blessing to other people. Make life. Yeah. I mean, life is not easy for everyone. You know, we go through a lot, and the best that you can do as another creature of God is to make life easy for the other person. Do not add to the issues that other people are going through a lot. Finances, career, marriage. It should be a source of relief, you know. So that's me. But I know we're all not like that. So I know there are some people, whether they know that's what they do or they don't, the way they live life at times is not comfortable for their fellow human beings. But me, I don't have any issue with relating with such people. I know that people have different, based on their backgrounds, you know, that you need to understand that when people exhibit a type of behavior, it's at times it's not because that is what is coming out. They have not planned that in any way. And the things that we exhibit as human beings are a combination of the environment that we grew up in, the situations that we face. All those things have come to form who we are as at today. So if I relate with somebody and I can imagine, this is this person, I think what I've been able to do, what I'm good at is to be able to peel the onion, try to understand who this person is. If that person is within my sphere of influence, maybe I'm managing that person, or that person is a friend of mine, I could be of assistance. I know what that person is going through. I know that it's not just, he just doesn't want to be like that, but those things that have been there, you know, that have is the experiences that the person has had, his family background, the kind of parenting that he or she went through. Life experiences will create something in you. So I use that to offer assistance in any way. I don't push anyone away. You'll always be my friend. I know people at varying level of, you know, that's why there are different types. You see the terribly sanguine person, you know, so once you understand that and you know that people can be like you, and again, you are also not sure that you are what other people appreciate also. So we also have to bear that in mind. So it's just about helping each other to become better, to become a better version of each other. That's all. And don't cast anybody out. Don't let disagreements. Try and be reasonable, and try and also get the other person to be reasonable as well. There is always an opportunity to talk things over. This is it. This is why I think what I'm doing is right. This is the way I see it. Now, the other person may not see it the other way. You've seen some objects will look, it's like you're looking at a glass cup that is half empty and the other person is saying it's half full. So basically the same thing. What you just need to do is step out. You step out from your own zone. Step out from where the things that you see. This is all that I can see. I see green. Okay, fine. You step out, move over to the other person. Let's see what the other person is seeing. And then both of you can then agree, oh, it's because I'm seeing it from this angle. That's why I think it's yellow. Natural fact, if both of us move out and we can then be together and then look at that same object, we can then all agree that, yes, it's green to this side, it's yellow to this side, you know. So that has always been my philosophy. Nobody's bad. Nobody willfully will want to become a bad person. There's always something good about the other person. And there's also a reason why you are also in that person's life, so that both of you can continue to become better. That's the way I say it. I'm a very friendly person. I hardly have issues with anybody, really. So that's it. I don't know if I answered that. You said it was a difficult question, so okay.
You did answer that question, yeah. But
so it's not as if I don't. It's not as if I don't eat the roof too. Me, you know now.
Yeah.
You said there was a time I was banging my head on the wall. So even me, I can go on a rant. So, but I'm able to then come back to my senses early enough and calm down, and then we move on. We look at what is best for us. We look at how to move on. Basically, we need to move on in life. Yeah, we can't die on our own beliefs. You know, we have to incorporate other people's beliefs. We have to. That's what makes us become better as individuals.
Yeah. So in general, would you say leadership, because you're still leading up to now, in general, would you say leadership is hard, tough, or easy?
Everybody's leading. Everybody's a leader in his own right. Obina, you're a leader in your own right. You are leading this endeavor. I mean, even me, I don't think I could have brought myself to do something like this. And you know, when you invited me, I was almost saying, no, I'm not doing no. Mind you, this is the first time I'm doing something like this. And that's why I sent it to a lot of my friends and family. Say, your guy is on TV. So consider yourself a leader in this aspect. So everybody's a leader. Even that young person is a leader. Leadership starts from when children get together and play together. You will see that for them to get things done, there has to be coordination. And when there is a coordination, there's a leader. And I mean, everybody has leadership activity to do. Even though you're in a team of 4, 5, and this is the person that's been announced as the head, everybody is playing a leadership role. Leadership is not really about who that person, the person that is in front. No. In fact, my own style of leadership is to lead from the back, you know. So everybody's a leader, you know. And to your question, whether it depends on the situation. Leadership is something that God has put into everybody that He created. You know, when He created Adam and Eve, He gave them that leadership skill. He told them, name the animals yourself, and then dominate over them, have dominion over them. That's leadership. Leadership starts from there, you know. So everybody that is born to have that leadership traits, and whether it's easy or hard, depends on the way you have taken it. If you are taking leadership as an opportunity to be hierarchical, as an opportunity to announce yourself, as an opportunity to be, yes, I've arrived, you are the big man in charge, then it will become tough because you lose followership. If you take leadership as an opportunity and you see yourself that it's an opportunity, you're not the best within the team, you're not the best amongst these people. There are people with different skill sets and then everybody comes together, and then you are just given the honor to coordinate the activities. If you see that as what leadership is, you will not have any issue. Everybody will want to work for you. Everybody will want to, everybody will want to ensure that whatever the objective for that team, everybody will want to ensure that it succeeds. But when you come in and you make leadership like you're a slave master, then you may get results. In fact, most times you will get results, but there will be a lot of casualties along the line.
But on a personal level, is it always easy to see leadership, to be selfless when you're leading, to see leadership outside yourself as a human being? Is it always easy for you to see yourself as, like you said, leading from the back? Because sometimes I know as a human being, sometimes your emotions get into it. And because you're leading, sometimes you want to exact that presence as a leader. So in speaking to people now, even to us, most of us listening, is it always easy to be selfless as a leader?
No, it's not. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. So I think it's what you get to realize is that if you are self-aware, there's a drag. There's always a drag. You are being dragged from this side. You are being dragged from this side. From one side, there's a need for you to stamp your authority because you need things to move on. Timing is not okay. You're probably not getting the right vibes from some of the team members. So there's something that's making you to act in a way that will bring them to so that they can conform to getting things done. There's also the other one that will, okay, fine, motivate them. Don't instruct them. Don't harass. Don't stamp your feet on the ground. So there's a drag, and within that drag, that is where you start to know the kind of person you are. Where do you see yourself being dragged to most of the time? If you are being dragged to where you are always shouting and hitting your head on the wall and cursing and threatening, then it means that your leadership style is tending towards the real red behavior. So as a leader, you are delivering very red behaviors, which shouldn't be. But if you ensure that, yes, even though you are being dragged, you can have a way of controlling yourself to do the right things, to ask questions, to put yourself in the other person's shoes, to be empathetic, to have a candor, spirit of candor, be a bit more understanding to the plight of the other person. Let's hear you, let's know what the issue is, and that understanding that you can't be right also all the time as a leader. That starts to then push you towards the blue side or the green side, whichever one you want to use as a leader. Yeah. So there's a drag on all fronts. It's for you to ensure that you don't get dragged. And you see, you can't be 100% right or blue as a leader, but if you are 80% blue, maybe people will see you as blue. But if you are 80% red, people will see you as, people will not say, yes, at times it was nice, but 90% of the time it was terrible. They will say that you are terrible. So it's for you to ensure that you can balance it and treat people, most importantly, treat people the way you want to be treated. That is the cardinal principle. Once you are able to get over that, that's the way I've just treated this person. If my own, because everybody, especially when you're in with employment, or everybody has a boss, even if you are the MD of the company, you have the board to report to. So would I want to be treated the way I'm treating this person? There's a popular saying, it says, do unto others the way you want others to do unto you. So I think, I hope that explains it a bit.
Yeah, it does explain it. So yeah, there was one other, I'm trying not to make this about me and you, because I mean, you've known me while I was growing up in the field of IT. But so there was one time you gave me an opportunity. You said, asked me to travel to Abuja to organize. It was a sales meeting. I don't know if you still remember that. At that
asked
point,
you to travel to Abuja.
Yeah, me and Alfred. So we traveled.
Really?
Yeah, we traveled to go manage the sales team. I think it was something we're trying to implement Salesforce and stuff like that. I'm trying not to make this about, so that I'm trying to make it general, but I'm going to get it close.
Okay.
But yeah, at that point, even though I was managing the sales team at the back end, I still felt as if I was really not ready to go do something as huge as that. So how did you know that I was the right person to send, even though I felt I wasn't competent enough to manage that role? So in general, if you look at people that you've been managing for a long time, how do you know that person that because you see one of your team members, and the person, you will see from the person's demeanor that the person feels as if he or she is not there yet. And yet you give him something as huge as that. How do you come up to that space to say, okay, fine, I trust you with this, and I know you can do it?
I don't remember the particular situation, but the truth is, as a leader, you will never know. And it's not your business to even know. Mm-hmm. The truth is that, let me give my own experience. When I finished my service here, and during my service here, I was lucky. I was posted to ExxonMobil. I went to serve in Akwa Ibom, and I was posted to ExxonMobil. And when I got there was nothing for me to do. And then there was a guy that normally comes from the Lagos office anytime they had any issue with their in-house applications, And then I just, anytime he comes, I will see him referencing manuals from his shelf and then working on the programs. And then when he left, I just picked those manuals and I started reading them, And then there was this team lead, like they used the word supervisor, superintendent in example, like head of function. And he just said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm reading this book." Okay, that's the book where that's the manual for the programs that controls one of 90% of the internal applications that we use, apart from JD Edwards, which was the ERP system. And I said, Are you getting it? I said, "Yes, I'm getting it, sir." "Okay, you wanna try work on one of the programs? We've asked Dele to come from Lagos, but if you think you can do it." The man gave me a chance. He didn't even ask me to test whether I could do it. No, so it is from that experience. When I told you people become the experiences that they've had, it was from that experience, somebody who didn't even know that I could do this. And he said, "Okay, a blind chance, go do it." He trusted me. From where? From where? That's why till today, I differ a bit from when they say trust is earned. For me, trust is given. I don't wait for somebody to give me all the evidences in the world that they can do it, because that man didn't wait for me to prove that I could do it. He gave me that chance. And I took that opportunity, I read, and I fixed the issue. And then Mr. Suba, Dele Suba, didn't need to come from Lagos. And that was how it started. Trust has to start from zero. Trust cannot start from 50% or 90%. So I can't remember, but if I ask you to go, yes, because it didn't matter to me whether I thought you could do it. What mattered to me was that you needed a chance to prove yourself. Guess what? If you had come back and you had failed, I would have still clapped for you, because it would have been a good opportunity for you to learn so that you don't make such mistakes. It's a building up moment, building opportunities to build yourself. So, in the team, mistakes is not something that I may react a bit, but I move on, because I know that mistakes are the best of teachers, the best experience, the best opportunities to gain experience. Yeah, so I may be sad that an opportunity will fail. So I didn't know. I didn't know. If I sent you an average, I didn't know. What I would have expected is that when you get there, if you have issues, you reach back, you get back to us, people can support you. We all need to support each other, and maybe that was why I also asked Alfred you and Alfred, because I believe that Alfred is more experienced and then he can learn from me. No, I didn't know, and I don't need to know. Everybody deserves a chance. And for me, trust is giving. I trust you from day one. If after a while you then throw back my trust in my face, that's another thing. For me, trust is not end. Trust is giving. If you are waiting for people to earn your trust, I don't think you can be trusted yourself.
Wow.
I don't think.
Wow. Yeah. So have you ever felt threatened as a leader? Have you ever felt threatened about your position? No.
Sorry, I missed that. The network has not been. Have I ever felt what?
Yeah, as a leader, when have you ever felt threatened as a leader, like your position as a leader, in terms of, let's say, you're exposing, okay, this is a general question. Let's say a leader, let's look at which president, I don't know, President Sankara. I don't know if you still remember President Sankara of one of those French-speaking countries.
President who?
Sankara, do you know him?
President who?
President Sankara. Have you ever heard about him, sir?
From where?
It's one of those from those French-speaking area.
Which country? Which country?
I think
which country,
I'm not sure now. I'm not sure now, but it's a French-speaking country and all that. So what I'm asking is,
okay.
Yeah. So this guy was leading, doing fit. He came in just like when Obama took presidency. He came in from a place where things were actually at the lowest point. He came in, took that, he revived the economy, he revived everything and stuff like that. But while he was doing what he was doing, his friend, you understand, didn't go in line, and his friend was one of those people that actually threw him out of. You understand? So, two questions I have there. One question is, where do you bring in trust, even though you know someone doesn't have your back? And second is, have you ever felt threatened as a leader, leading a set of people? Just like Moses was leading his people, and some people were actually saying, how come you're not the celebrity of our team? You understand? How can you be our leader and stuff like that? How can you take us out of Egypt? And now you're acting as if you're the celebrity of our team. You understand? Have you ever gotten to that point where you met folks like that? How did you manage that situation? Did you manage it as Moses did, where he prayed to God? And God said, no, go and meet these people, separate these people from this, leave these people here that have been messing up. Now, he now said, let the ground open and eat these people up, right? He prayed for that not to happen, but it happened anyways. So have you ever gotten to that position in life as a leader where you had people going back and forth with you, right? How did you manage such situations?
No, questioning my authority, basically.
Yes.
Okay. So,
yeah.
And I think it's good that you also quoted the Bible. You had a Bible reference for that. See, spiritual leadership is very different from other forms of leadership. The way you expect to navigate through spiritual leadership is not the same way you navigate through other forms of leadership. For spiritual leadership, you have been called. And the authority that you carry is God's authority. Okay, so it stands reasonable that anybody that comes up against that authority, spiritual authority, should be punished by God. And you see over time in history, in the Bible, they are actually punished. You can't pressurize God's chosen and expect to get away with it. And I'm always very careful, and I also use every opportunity to talk to people. You don't question spiritual authority. You go back and pray to God. and say, this is the leader you have given us, and he's not doing well in this regards. God will handle the situation himself. You can't handle that situation on behalf of God. You can't handle it by being rude to the leader, questioning the authority of the leader, ganging up against the leader, revolting against the leader. They are, if you do that, there's a big danger. And I don't encourage anyone to do that. But when it comes to leadership in the workplace, let me just use that as an example, leadership in the workplace. What you are supposed to do is lead a team. Lead a team and bring in all the qualities of leadership. And that's why at some point we then have to say clearly that there's a difference between a manager and a leader. A manager is there to force you to get things done, to meet an objective. A leader is supposed to inspire you to do those things. And that's why a manager, when he's away, the followers do whatever they like. But a leader does not have to be somewhere. The people that are there who want to die because of him. I'm talking about work environment now.
Yes.
So that's what you need to work towards. That's what you need to try and achieve as a leader in the corporate environment. So don't try and say you are the best, and that's why you are leading them. You're not the best. You are not the best. If you think you are the best, that means you should be able to do what every other person in that team is doing. You are not the best. You are only there to coordinate. And everybody has different opportunities. If I tell you my story, when I became the leader in this same, where we were together, there were 4 of us, and all 4 of us were capable of leading the team at that point in time, going on to become a success. So for me, it may probably have just been time and chance. Maybe I had something that the other guys didn't have. Maybe for the one-day recruitment exercise, maybe I said something that that was really nice, and the recruiters really liked it, and that was why I had your plan. Does not necessarily mean that you are the best, you know. So when you understand that as a leader, it guides you in the way you relate with the team. It guides you in the way you relate with the team. So at that point, and in direct reference to your question, I won't do it doesn't mean other people will not do it. No, when we started, we said everybody, based on their background, would behave differently. It's you as a leader would then know how to relate with people with the understanding that they came from a different background. If I have a leader, once they say OB, you and Yomi are in the same team, and OB, you are the head of the team. From that day onwards, my loyalty is to you. From that day onward, despite the age difference or whatever experience difference, from that day onwards, I queue up behind you. From that day onward, it's what you say that I do. From that day onward, if you make a mistake, if I think you make a mistake, I will lovingly, in loyalty, find an opportunity to show it to you, rather than use it as an opportunity to embarrass you. From that day on, you are a leader. Even though I've said this is a separate thing, guess what? All authorities on earth have been ordained by God. So you still get punished if you are treating your leader in a not so good way. So that is for the other people that are doing that. But for me as a leader, I won't take revenge. I won't do tit for tat. You know, that's me. I will calm you down. Even though it may be embarrassing the way you will be doing it, I will call you in, we'll talk. What is the issue? How can we relate better as a leader and as a follower? I will want to ensure that I get you to change your tactics towards me. I will try to let you see that I am not the enemy. The team objectives need to be met, and we need to together meet it. And that there's no ulterior motive from anyone, there's no personal agenda, there's no personal vendetta. The team must win, because the strength of that team is the strength of the weakest person in the chain. So if I see those kind of behaviors, they are negative behaviors, they are red behaviors. You know, I was explaining red and blue and green at that time. They are red behaviors.
Yes.
It's not only leaders that have red behaviors. followers too have red behaviors. So that means I have a job. I'll be a success as a leader if I'm able to get you, a follower with red behaviors, to start behaving blue. So that will be, I'm not the kind of leader that would then say, okay, okay, you said this in the meeting against me, your leader. Okay, fine, we'll see. And I'm sure you know from my own experience, from our shared experience, that personally I've had a lot of those, and I've done exactly what I've said. So I don't say I don't do. I actually say what I can do. So you won't leave my team. I won't score you low. You may be antagonizing me as a follower. I will still be giving you your due reward as a high performer. You will have nothing to do with each other. And I will continue to work on ensuring that I can get you to start behaving right as a follower. I hope I've answered that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to go further, but it wouldn't be nice if I go further without actually reading out this comment from Demola. Demola is also on our next.
I know where Demola he works now, so I can go and deal with him there.
Yes. It's Demola is just on our next. He said. What does he say? He said, please help me to inform our boss that I really appreciate this secondment. That's what he said. The secondment he gave me then. He sent me to take over Alfred's. There was one time he said Alfred was sent to South Africa to lead the team there. So you asked Demola to take up that role in SFA as the infrastructure lead when there was an issue. I didn't feel I could do it, but you motivated me and told me to go ahead, that you trusted me. He also said I shouldn't disappoint me. He's saying that you said you just gave him some advice.
I got it. I got it. I remember that experience. I remember that vividly.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the experience that you shared. It's the same thing with the experience that I don't believe, because I was lucky to meet good leaders, So if that was my experience with those people that were there when I started my IT career, why can't I also express that and show that to the people that are there? So everything about the way you guys have seen me behave is because of the fact that I say this, and at times I say I shouldn't be saying this. So I'll say it again, even though I shouldn't be saying it. Namdi, I was brought up well. Coupled with the fact that I met some great leaders. There's no reason why I cannot affect the lives of people that have come across me positively. I was brought up well.
So most of those, your character traits actually came from how your family, right? Your dad and your mom.
Yes. Basically, so my family, my dad, I won't say it was all that rosy, but I had the opportunity of seeing live what was right, what was wrong, And then I had the opportunity of evaluating at that young age and determining that I would do the right. It was a big one from my mom and my dad. In some cases, my mom would say something, and I would go to my dad. My dad, I love him. He's gone now. He's my hero. But my dad was more of my dad was more of a self person. My mom was more of others person, if you get what I'm saying.
I understand.
I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Let me give you some scenarios. I had a fight when I was growing up. I had a fight with a guy on the street, and then the guy beat me blue and black. And then my father got to know, and then my father they brought that guy, and my father dealt with him seriously. That's my father. If it was my mother would have beaten me again. My mother was always, anytime there was issue with you and another person, it was more of, let it go, let the other win. My dad, you must win. So I saw that. I love it. I love my dad, and some of my family people will be listening to this. I hope they won't be a bit disappointed. So I love that style, but growing up, because I saw those two styles, I benefited from each of those styles. I was able to say, no, going forward, for you to be a man, this is the one I will go for. This is the one I will go for. And it had its benefits and disadvantages too. Like my dad is not a generous person. He's not a generous person. my dad will not give a beggar on the road. Daddy, let's give this beggar money. If you try it, if you try it. But it was very shrewd. I am not shrewd nowadays because I love to give.
Yeah.
And my mother taught me that. So you see, it's not all the time that I was negative from one side, positive from the other side. Yeah. But it gave me an opportunity to see life from those two sides earlier on, and not be necessarily conformed to one, but be able to say, I've seen this, I've seen that. Which one makes more sense? Which one should I choose as a person? So I got a lot of that growing up, which has been a factor in where I am today.
Yeah. So when you were introducing yourself, and that's actually good in terms of who you are now, I would say yes. You've if left to me, I would say yes. You've done over the years that I worked with you, and even up to now. Like, you've been fantastic. You've been consistent. But let me leave that at now, because I'm not trying to say thank you through this program to you. I will do that later in life. Probably organize something separate for you and say thank you properly. But what the question I'm going to ask?
Are you going to send dollars? Are you going to send dollars?
we'll plan that.
Okay, good. That's what I want now. Don't organize anything with dollars.
So when you were introducing yourself, there was a lot of big things you did. You worked with ExxonMobil and all. And some people would say, oh, it's because he came from a wealthy background. That was why he had the opportunity to work with certain organizations like this. Would you say that when you were starting up your career, would you say it was all rosy, or were there certain moments where you hit a brick wall, and how did you manage those tough times while you were growing up in your career?
I've hit brick walls several times. I won't give the Guinness experience. Let me go back. And when I was in ExxonMobil, at some point, because I was a contract staff, well paid, but in terms of the long-term plan for you as wasn't there compared to you being a staff. So at some point I got tired. After 6 years, I left. It was a mistake that I left. Maybe I should have stayed on. So I left, and guess where I went to? I went to Ibadan. Of all places, that was when the GSM revolution was starting, and then I got employed with an ISP. So that's where, if you see me, hear me talk about network, and you think I know what I'm saying, I had a stint with an ISP network organization back there. So when I was there, one-man business, after a while it wasn't paying, and then it became so terrible in Ibadan. You have a job, no salary, but yet you were working. But I plugged myself into it, and then eventually I had to leave that job. But what I found myself doing was that even in that situation, at those moments, I was still humble with my choices, with my behaviors, with everything, to the extent that I was offered a job in Lagos City Computer College. Yes, I was almost starting a job at Lagos City Computer College, and they were telling me, man, you did so well. In fact, we have not seen anybody like this. We want you to be one of our lecturers, In fact, we've spoken to the owner. They've increased your salary. It's not the same as what other people are being paid because of the skills that we've confirmed that you have. So it's going to be 11,000 naira So you increase the salary and it's 11,000. So what are you paying the other guys? And then I said, okay, let me think about it. If for somebody else, they won't take that opportunity. I said, no, fine, no problem. You know, I will do it. I will do it. But I guess God was waiting for me to say that at that point in time. As soon as I said that, and I got back to Ibadan, there was somebody else waiting for me. Very rich man. He said, I heard that you've left this company. Can you work with me? I have the fund. Can we set up an ISP? And that was how I started. Boom. But see, I see a spiritual thing about all these things. There are a lot of things that happen in the physical. Before they happens in the physical, there must have been a spiritual manifestation before the physical manifestation. I believe so much in that, you know. So it was, I knew that it was a test of my faith in God to say, He will do well. No evil shall befall me. He will never allow anything to bring me down. And He will not allow that something that's more than I can bear to happen to me. As soon as I utter the word, I will do it. When do you want me to start? Even though I knew that, how can I have a family in Ibadan? I have 2 kids already at that point in time, and you'll be earning 11,000, you know. As soon as I got to Ibadan, there was something lucrative waiting for me. And that was how I started. In fact, when I got the job from Guinness afterwards, I didn't want to leave because I had done so much. And then God blessed the work of my hands, even in that small ISP. We brought in equipment from abroad. I set it up, and we were getting signals of that ISP all over Ibadan. And people were saying, how did we do it? I've forgotten the names of those towns because there was no ISP in Ibadan that was able to get the signal from one point to another at that point in time. We did it together in that new company. It was mixed emotions for me when I was even living that, because I knew it was an answer to my humility and my trust in God with the Lagos City Computer College work. So that was a moment where things could have gone wrong. The other one would be Guinness, where when I left in 2016, I thank God I had my car. I was able to use my car to get out, or else I would have, if it was a status car, it would have been taken away from me. And when I left with a draft of my 1 month in lieu. And that was all I had then, with loans in the bank. And I just got to the gate and said, I trust you, God. And then as soon as I said that, some guys called me and said, we are the ones that are doing this project for Guinness. Can you represent us for Africa? We are coming to Nigeria in December and we'd like to see you. And that was how I started. Within those 4 years, I've done projects with Coca-Cola, P&G, with some other FMCGs. And I was just there, like a sitting dog, you know, and I got that opportunity. And that was what kept me for those 4 years after I left Guinness. And that company is still running now. Guess what? That company is paying more than even my earnings as a paid employee, whether it's where I'm working now or even when I was in Guinness.
Yeah.
All glory to God.
All glory to God. Yeah. So I'll relate this one to family. So and even as an IT expert, there are certain times where work would take you away from family and all. How do you manage your family? How does your family manage your absence?
No, I was listening to the Debola session.
Yeah. I guess the network just went out. Let's give it some time to come up.
You shared with me where she spoke about, she was spot on. It can be balanced. It can be balanced. There's some. Sorry, I lost you there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's fine.
Yeah. So I don't remember. I just noticed that it went off. I don't remember what was the last thing you heard.
No, you said that you said that it can be balanced, that you were listening to
Yeah, it can be balanced. So but this solar was spot on. It can be balanced. And for me, trying to excel, there are times, my own philosophy of life is that I just need to make myself attractive, that God will take care of everything that concerns me, really. Just make yourself attractive by loving God, by loving your neighbor, which ties into the way I relate with people. Once you make yourself attractive, God will ensure that your destiny is perfected. There may be times when it derails, but it will ensure that it comes back.
Let's be patient, guys. It's just the network.
And to get yourself ready, use the opportunity to become better, do all the certifications. At times, you do certifications, you have to sleep in the office because you don't want any disturbance from home. There was a barrage, especially when I just joined Guinness. I was doing certifications like normal business. I did CISA, I did PMP. I was just, anyone, and that's what I would advise anybody that is an entrant now, especially in IT or even in another field. Your early years is the best time you have to get all the art skills. When you get to a point, art skills will not matter to you based on your level if you have been promoted to a good place, you understand? It's the soft skills that you then need to start to get better with, So I was happy that I had the opportunity. I did everything back then. And then that's why nowadays if you say there's a certification, I'm not interested, So that's the best time for you to find out the skills that are required, the art skills that are required in your industry. And before you are 30, 32, 35, get them out of the way. There will be new versions. Technology will change. You don't need to be running after technology. Once you have some of those foundational skills, it's okay. At some point, what would then be left for you to be chasing would be the soft skills,
Yeah.
So in the process, family suffered. That was the question. In the process, family suffered. But we thank God, because we're all moving towards perfection. Things cannot be perfect. You just continue to work it out. Since you know what you want to be. You will get hard, but continue to work it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So without
saying too much. I hope you didn't want me to say more than that.
Yeah. You said you were married for like a long time, and you said you started early. So like just give us an overview. Yeah, how was it? How did you start? For young people trying to get married very early and also trying to also put their life together. How was it? Was it that easy? Was it that rosy? How did you and Madam started? How was it for you?
Yeah, I think we're lucky in our own case. It was a school relationship that blossomed into marriage. So it was a great opportunity to start early. I got married 26. By 30, I had my first two kids. One of them is here with me in Jos. He's doing his service here in Jos. The other one is in a final year. So, and I'm not 50 yet, so I just know that by the time I'm 55, 60, I should be having grandchildren. And then very soon the pressure of school fees will go off, and then I can then enjoy my life as a baby boy. But it wasn't easy, because around that time also was when I was struggling to do certifications, and I had babies at home. They were falling sick anyhow. I need to support my wife. So it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy. It was terrible, terrible times. Managing the home at that point in time, trying to excel in the office, trying to study, and improve yourself, trying to also be there for your madam, because if women don't understand that it's work now. If the salary comes, yes, they understand that, but go and work for the salary, it's a different conversation again. So, and then some of the work, IT now, you end up working late, coming back home late.
Yes.
You can't close by 5 now. You can't close by 5, because 8 to 5, people are harassing you. I mean, I saw you. I got your secret that you have been resolving issues for Mujisola and Toyi without creating tickets. I would need to find a way of reporting you to Benga in Guinness. That's what you know. And then after all that, you also need some time to settle down and do the paperwork, do the computer work, do the documentation, do all those things. That's why eventually you see IT guys staying late in the office and then going home late. There can be a work-life balance.
Yeah.
There can be like work-life balance.
Yeah. So there'll be some people listening to you now and they'll be like, oh, yeah, he came from a rich background. And that was why he had all this opportunity. Yeah, that some people will say, okay, fine. He came from, that's why he had this opportunity working with ExxonMobil, huge. So because they will say all the things you've been saying are big things. Someone from that's not from a rich background can't have those opportunities. There are people that are listening to this program now, they're actually thinking like that. What would you say to them, sir? That it's not always the fact that you came from a rich background, that's why you have huge opportunities.
There was nothing in my background that gave me the opportunities that I had in life, honestly. Maybe the only thing would be that I had a father that was able to send me to school. And that was it. Afterwards, it was God all the way. It was God all the way. So I didn't influence the posting to ExxonMobil from everybody got into the camp in Akwa Ibom State. And then maybe because they saw computer science, and even back then it was a bit flashy when you see computer science. So I said, computer science definitely should go to another company. That was it. Nobody, I didn't do anything to influence it. And then when I got to the favor of God, you becoming attracted to God by loving him and by loving your neighbor, God will also then take up your case and continue to push you into the right place so where you can get favor. For me, that was what I think worked for me in that regards, because then I was close to God. I was close to his commandment. They say, what is that one commandment? He said the greatest commandment is love God and love your neighbor. If you do that, you are cool. You'll be attractive to God's blessing. You'll be even where you fall off the destiny path, it will bring you back. Love God, love your neighbor. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. So what that place is saying is that you should love your neighbor before you yourself. We may say that it's very difficult, but that's God. That was Jesus Christ. That was our Lord and Savior talking. If you are saying that God doesn't know what he's saying, then love God, love your neighbor. I didn't do anything. I just saw the letter and it was ExxonMobil. And I got there. I got the favor of my supervisor. I became a programmer. I was traveling everywhere, official car, even as a contract staff, going to Onne, going to Port Harcourt, writing programs. Eventually, when a Pharaoh will leave, another Pharaoh will come, and who will not like Joseph? So I guess that's what happened to me, why I had to leave at that point in time. But it was a wonderful time. Everything that has happened to me, yes, I thank God for planting me into a comfortable family. I won't say a rich family, very, very comfortable family. We had everything that we needed. But nothing from that got me what I got in life. I think it was my philosophy of loving God, loving my neighbor, and making myself attractive to God's blessing. That got me to where I am today.
So we're getting to the final lap. So this is a general question. How would you, because you said you married young, how would you advise young people to choose a spouse?
Wow, that's a big one. Ask God. So I know you said that he's not in the business of choosing for you, because he got his hands burnt when Adam was saying, "It's the woman that you gave me." But it's still his institution. It's still God's institution. So he won't be the one to choose for you. But if you connect to him, he can also help you. The institution of marriage is not something that it can be right or wrong. You cannot know that person before you marry. The person, even you, after marriage will change. But one thing that if you understand God very well, one thing that you need to know as a partner in that marriage is that you are not perfect. You yourself, you are not perfect. So why would you expect perfection from the other person? You're not perfect. No. This American song, if I work hard at it, I'll be what I want to be. No, you continue to work hard at it. You fail, there'll be issues, but just don't divorce. Don't divorce. Don't divorce. That is me, as a minister of God. I've had people say this, if it's too, separate, move away, but don't divorce. Continue to work hard at it. There's a reason God gave you that lady. There's a reason God gave you that man.
Yeah.
That reason may be because he wants to use her or him to polish you, to sharpen you, to correct those things that are actually not good in you. Yeah. So continue to work towards perfection. That's it. That would be my advice. There is no hard. And if anybody comes out and says, marriage is perfect, it is a blatant lie. It's a big lie. Just continue to. You become a better man if you continue to work on such situations. Guess who I'll prefer to reference when there's an issue in marriage? Is the person that has had issues in marriage, not a pastor that the wife has been so humble and respectful of. No, they don't have that experience. They don't have that experience. If you want someone to advise you, is a woman that has gone through terrible times in marriage. If you want a man to advise you, is the man that has gone through terrible times in marriage, not somebody that the wife will kneel down to. He doesn't understand what it is to get the respect of a woman because he gets it on the platter of gold. He needs to come and talk to a man who have to cook for himself at times. Yeah. But just continue to work towards perfection. You can never be perfect. Just continue to work towards it. Continue to love God. If you don't do anything, just love God and love your neighbor. Things will be easy. Things will get better.
So what will be your final words, sir, to everybody listening to you in all spheres of life, in terms of, you've said something about choosing the right, basically, what will be your final advice to young people in making decisions when it comes to making life decisions in general?
Yeah, so I would say the same thing. Love God. Yeah. See, when you love God, it's not just by saying, hey, hi, I love God. No, it's about doing things that will make God happy. That shows your love for him. So when you do that, there is a way where your connection to him is guaranteed. Everything that you want to lay your hands on, just ensure that you are on the right side of God. You are always looking out for how to engage and better the life of God's creature. If you do that, God will look out for you. You are looking out for your neighbor. You are checking them out. You are providing for them. You are feeding them. You are helping them. You are not part of the people stabbing them. You are trying to lift them up. Even if they are the ones stabbing you, it doesn't matter. Just trying to lift everybody that you have an opportunity to come across in life as much as you can do. If you do that, every other thing will fall in place for you. There will be down times, no doubt. But those down times will be an opportunity for you to even rise higher.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. There's a lot. It's already an hour, more than an hour with you, and it didn't even feel as if it was almost an hour with you.
Honestly, I also feel like going on.
It's more than an hour. Well, thank you so much. I learned a lot from you. I learned really so much from you. I learned before now, I learned a lot. And even while we're discussing, you just gave me another side. Some areas that I really didn't know before now, but you actually just, you touched a bit on it. And in general, all you've been saying is make sure you put God in front, love your neighbor as yourself, put God in front, love your neighbor as yourself. And I hope most of us that was listening today got that message. There's Ademola Yusuf. Before now, Douglas and Garamike asked about this discussion.
Douglas.
Yeah, I've not spoken to him for a long time, but because flyer popped up, And yeah, we spoke. Idris is here. Odapo Michael is here.
Wow,
Your boy.
Idris.
Yeah, and even Opatola, yeah. Opatola, yeah, he helped. Yeah, he helped me.
I remember.
He put your flyer everywhere when I posted it. So yeah, and so many people here, and even Shokoya Esther, she was here for a long while. Shokoya Esther was here for a long time. Then she left. I would share the YouTube link with you, sir, so that you can also share with anybody that wants to
Thank
go
you so
back.
much. Thank you.
Yeah, it was
And
really
I like to also
wonderful.
say what you are doing is fantastic. Honestly, I didn't know you could sing. When I heard your voice in those two, I said, wow, we could have formed a band while we were together in Guinness. You know, it would have been lovely. Great voice. Thank you for using it for God. God will continue to bless you.
Amen, sir.
Let me tell Dami to be behaving well now. Dami and Follow, tell them to behave well now.
I will. They are listening, actually. They're actually listening. Yeah, but they chose not to say anything because they don't want to be called out. But they were listening. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Bye-bye. God bless you.
Really
Thank you.
sir. Yeah.
All right.
I'll share the link.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
Okay.